Eduardo. Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well. Great to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited about today.
Very nice.
I was explaining a little bit. We got into it, like our introduction was through Instagram, and your positivity and your energy, even if we don't know each other personally, it kind of attracted me. I was very, very fascinated by it.
Oh, thank you
So
so much. Thank you so much. It's funny enough that I think I got some of this energy from my mom. You know, it's just that person that walks into a room and everyone gets connected. I think it gets
exactly.
organic.
Well, that's exactly the feeling that I felt. So thank you for that because it's always needed, especially in this life.
Yeah.
So, Eduardo, what also fascinated me was your background because I'm a psych consultant, but I do know that you were also prior this adventure that you started. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you and like what was your previous role and how did you get here?
Yeah, it's 15 years ago I decided to start in this world of fashion. But if I can go back a little bit in my background, as I mentioned just before, my mom used to be a dressmaker. You know,
Oh, wow.
she used to have some background in sewing. You know, she studied in a nuns college, so she learns the trade of sewing and learning about how to make patterns.
Cool.
And then my dad as well. He was a banker, and he always in the suit. So we had a very
You,
education of dressing well for the Sunday at least.
of
To go
course.
to church, at least. On the Sunday, Catholic. But
So you got the vibe since you were little.
yes, 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 that's right. So I think it's pretty much from there. But as I said, 15 years ago, I decided to move to Australia, and I found that I was dressing quite well for a continent that was kind of isolated from the entire world. You are in Australia with only at that time only 24 million people. A big continent the size of Europe and bigger. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like yeah, there's a few things that I found that I could help. So I took a course of image consulting because I found that I could help some of my friends at work. I was an
Oh, wow. So a
technician.
totally different background you
Totally
started from.
different background. That's right.
Wow.
So yeah, so I had some IT background in IT in Australia and in Portugal, and so I lived there for about 10 years. And in those 10 years, so I developed something along my friendships. So I started my business among those connections. But after me taking that course, my life totally changed. I start doing personal shopping for friends. And then I found that I could not find the right clothes for them because of the sizes. And that's when I decided to take a design course and a tailoring course. So for me to understand and for me to do more at that time for my clients.
So it has been like a very natural progress situation for you.
Yeah, more or less, I have to say, because, but there was a kind of interrupting time in my life that I listened to a lot of information, but I was not doing the things that I loved. That years past, I found passion in tailoring.
Okay.
I worked at a department store. I sold. I was the main stylist for David Jones, which is the oldest department store in Australia. So I styled many people. They used to have their own clients with their own credit card, gold credit cards. So we used to style those particular clients, which is not. We used to have our own suite and so on. I used to deal with the Italian brands such as Canali, Zegna, and Armani, and so on, and others as well, such Hugo Boss, Durban, Gibbs and Hawkes, many other brands. So I deal with many, and I learn a lot. I thought I knew it. I didn't know nothing about tailoring. and learn a lot. I learn a lot.
Yeah.
I learn about the luxury and the quality of clothing.
I also wanted to speak with you because my guests are mostly like from Italy. So we just have like an Italian point of view. And I think the concept of luxury is very complex and it's very, it depends where you live.
Yes.
It's perceived in a different way. Do you want to speak about like, with your international experience in Miami, in Portugal?
Yeah.
So you have an international, a European experience. Like, how is that perceived?
I think we live in Europe. We have an advantage of creating fashion that other people want to follow. The problem is that the last word that I say, following, is our biggest mistake.
Amen.
And we tend to follow fashion and we're not creating our own style. And we tend to follow fashion or not having style.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's one of the biggest problems here. And when we have such an arbor of fine clothing, fine taste coming from Italy, I have to say that Europe was colonized, let's say, conquered by Romans. And we need to look at that history that we have, where architecture-wise, the clothing, even the makeup, even the ornaments in our faces, in our heads, all that, it goes back to Roman times. Even before that, Roman was influenced by Egyptians, and Egyptians were influenced by Africans itself. So there's a lot of history behind this. And these days, what I see now, comparing Europe to the rest of the world, is that we are pioneers and we have an idea of fashion that for us comes more organic, where the rest of the world tend to follow us behind. And now we see a lot of luxury brands merging in the luxury world, through Middle East, through the US, and even Asia and Africa, rich countries, other labels, because they understand now the concept that we've been developed for many years. But don't take me wrong, I believe that there's a difference between European fashion and American fashion, and in the luxury environment, because of the culture. You know, we see in America a lot of urban luxury brands and other brands that are doing completely different that we grew up and we were doing. And then there's the other side of silence fashion that we love a lot here in Europe. And we see the diverse of loud fashion.
It's a phenomenon that the silent fashion now is talking a lot about silent fashion. Yeah. You get a lot of critics as well, because people say silent, not that really silent, you know, because you can tell a Loro Piana item from, you know, you can tell the difference. So it is silent, yeah, but not really.
Not really.
So, but it is a topic that has been very much talked about lately.
Yes.
And do you think that's the biggest difference between the international and the European?
Yeah, because the really turn point into those kind of names that you just mentioned, Loro Piana, is something that people hasn't understand. And I go back to other brands such as Zegna. It's been around for, you know, centuries, you know, decades, and other ones, you know, there's many. They focus in quality.
They do.
And quality, people thinking that quality of the stitching. No, the quality starts on the construction and the materials. And that
absolutely
is what the silence becomes louder. It's not silence because there's refinements there.
But so I think I'm a great believer in quality, and I think it is what actually make a man be successful, and like even like the look of it look like luxuries, like how it felt, the quality, the cuts, a lot of things. But I also do believe, and I'm very convinced that is a crucial part what makes a good outcome to be a successful man has to do also with his attitude. Do you think we can teach how to make outfits, but do you think attitude can be taught?
Can be, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. It's one of the very, very difficult subjects to talk about because it needs a man to have attitude, or we learn that attitude throughout the years. You've been around people that has attitude, or is a good believer of great attitude people around the world, or it becomes non-organic, and those non-organic, it's easy to detect.
So like a fake
Yeah,
kind of profile.
exactly right.
Okay.
So I think it's attitude. It's something that it happened to you when you were young. It's not happened to you earlier, just now. It happened to you very early stage of your age.
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And we see leaders of the world in fashion, and if you go back to their background, they done something great back then, and they were those, you know, bad boys in school, or they were those guys that, you know, they were good at soccer or football. They were doing something,
Yeah.
you know, they always had something great on their side, and they use that to become what they are today with an attitude. There's a friend of me, a friend of mine here in Portugal, that says attitude cannot be bought. You know, you can learn, but you cannot buy it.
I
That's why you
agree.
don't see it often. You know, it's kind of like you might find yourself one now and then, but by people that got influenced by others.
But do you think as our job is to actually even teach people how to make outfits and feel better and perceive themselves in a more confident way, do you think that can bring attitude out of a person and like
Yes, I believe so. I believe so because, you know, you start to dress well, you start to receive, people start to receiving you differently, and everything start to happen to you, and your attitude to the world changes completely.
that's
You know,
very true.
I give an example of myself. I never been confident as I am today in a suit. I always dress nice, but I tell you, my life changed when I start wearing three-piece suits. When a lot of people are afraid to overdressing, as they say, and for me, is the turn of my entire career changes that because I became more with more credibility. People want to know me, want to come to me, want to why, and I have answers in my hands, in my talk, in my speech, in my business. I have services that I could provide it, and I until then I was just another one. So my attitude changes there.
But do you think that change, it came also because of the fact that you're an avid traveler, so you got influenced by different cultures and like, do you think that is part also?
Yeah, I think yes and no. It's exactly what you're saying, but one of the biggest talent that I have is I'm a well observer.
Okay.
I look and I see.
You have to be. I mean,
yes.
to be as an image consultant, you have to be.
Yeah, you have to be. So I have that ability of looking to something and see why it's different, why it's beautiful, why it looks great. So I have that ability. No many people can have that ability without learning or was born with it. You know, and I think that gives me the opportunity to know what I wanted for the next step.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
I have one question about the fact that you started as an image consultant.
Yeah.
You said you took a course.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, as a style consultant, the first session, and this is something that I always say to on our lives, the first session is part of like, is dedicated to give the client technical details about their skin tones or the body shape or the facial shape so that they can actually use them to create with me and with an image consultant to create their own individuality. Was this part of your path,
No,
or
my consultation and my image consultation started a little bit different.
okay,
Even though that is part of it, but it was not the start of it.
okay,
So the start of it, to me, I call something that I still do today. Maybe in a shorter period, we call the discovery.
okay.
So the discovery to me, was when I take my clients for have a drink. I go dinner with him. I go lunch with him. I talk about random stuff. I even if he smokes or if he drinks, if he does a sport or something.
You create the chemistry that is
Yes,
needed.
and I know who I'm going to deal with. So I'm going to discover this person. This person is going to be discovered by me, and that's when then I already have a lot of answers answered.
Automatically.
So if I have,
Yeah, that's true.
yes. So it comes a little bit organic because a lot of people tend to not tell 100% the truth what they like. So,
Absolutely true.
and as you go, you learn about them as you go.
Yes.
So back in the days, I used to kind of like, oh, let's meet at shopping center, and they think they're gonna shop. No, I'm gonna take to a bar or restaurant,
That's
and then
good.
they're gonna loosen up, and we might have a hint of shopping, wandering, but back in the days was more like that. That's why I have this bar over here.
I see that. That's the first thing I noticed.
That's why I have the bar over here. I need to loosen up, so I need to understand what they want.
I totally agree. I mean, for me, it's a different path because as a woman, if I do that, it's a little bit, not well perceived, but but yes, it is an important part of the consultancy. Just get to know the client with a very honest talk. And how do you define a gentleman, and what do you think the concept of luxury is beside international or Italian, just for yourself?
Well, defining a gentleman, it's a very broad word and subject. I think that a gentleman should, I believe a gentleman should be as clean as possible in the way that he presents himself to the world. To me, I found to be clean as wearing a suit. But doesn't mean that a gentleman who doesn't wear a suit is not clean. Clean meaning a guy with refined taste, a guy with refined attitude, educated, a guy that...
It's a whole lifestyle and yeah, it's a whole package.
So it's not only the clothing, correct?
Absolutely.
Of course, the clothing complements you. It's like, that you have, let's say, a Ferrari that it's, a 96 Ferrari, but if he's full of rust, people don't look at him as good. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But even someone dressed like you, like same as you today, and it could be maybe not educated, maybe without the energy, and it could appear differently. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that there's no complete package there, but everything starts with the inner beliefs of respect to yourself. As long as you can respect yourself, you are able to respect others.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, it's more or less. Yesterday I was venting on Instagram about a situation that happened to me that I was very frustrated, but I vented. It was a time that I wanted to vent it, but I vented with respect. Even that I was respect. What I was saying is that people don't respect other people on the streets. No one gives the opportunity to pass, to get in when it's transit, when it's road work, stuff like that. Everyone is just like bully. There's no respect anymore. So I think that right there we are being very weak. We're not being strong.
You lose everything that you build, of good of you, that if you do just one step wrong, or I totally agree. I mean, the education first and then everything else.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that's it's a whole package, and start with our respect to yourself and respect others, pursuing a better life, asking and making it possible to be better in the next day. And I think I'm in a learning curve every day. I can do better every single day. I can dress better every single day. I can do a better knot every single day. I can press my suit. I can find a better cologne. A lot more for the future. Now, the second question you said.
about the concept of luxury, that beside the international experience, beside the Italian experience, just like what do you think really luxury is? It's a question that I ask to everyone, because I see that many has different opinions, but there is one question answer that usually comes forward. So maybe it's gonna be also yours. We'll see.
I gotta touch base in to me luxury number one, and I really against brands or the luxury that I don't see where there's no quality.
Mm-hmm.
So to me,
so it is quality as well.
Sorry.
It is quality as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
So luxury to me has to start there.
Mm-hmm.
Luxury as to me as starting quality, and then it's you know, because I'm in the tailoring industry, to me, luxury has a wider branch in the quality, because then there's construction,
Mm-hmm.
then the materials, then there's so many things around it. And these days, luxury, this is what I believe. And now what's happening out there? What's happening out there is it's different. What's happening and what I believe. And what I perceive. So whatever these days is basically brands that had quality in the past,
Mm-hmm.
had done very good in the past, and these days they have a name for themselves, and they have great exposure, great marketing, and then they are able to refine the vision of the client. They create what the client wants. They give what the idea, what luxury is. And some of the times it's all about the lifestyle. Who doesn't want to have a cocktail in Capri? Beautiful. Who doesn't want to have a beautiful woman next to me? It's all this. Who doesn't want to have a nice, expensive car? And luxury tend to focus in that instead of the quality that they used to focus back in the days.
Okay, clear. I totally understand your point.
Yeah.
So as an image consultant and as a tailor, then, like, there is the Napolitan tailor, there is the English tailor, there is the Italian tailor, Roman tailor. There are like different.
Many.
Where do you, because in Portugal, when you go to Portugal, you think about surfing, or you don't think about tailoring.
Yes.
And like, are you one of the first that kind of got into this path in Portugal? Do you think you can select yourself inside a niche? Do you think you have an inspiration from everyone?
I have to be honest, people don't know much about Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But Portugal is the oldest ally of England.
Mm-hmm.
So Portugal has a big background in the tailor industry, but focus in the English background. So most of the tailors here, and we had the great tailors in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And of course, now industry changed. We became a working community, working force, and people start not wearing suits, and the tailors start to decrease, and so on. So myself, because I'm international and a traveler, I tend to focus in two things. First, 100 years of tailoring. I grab in 100 years of tailoring, and I focus in what was good back in those old 10 decades.
But in English tailoring or in tailoring?
And then I look at those places, and I look at, like, let's look at the Second World War and First and Second World War. England was in the front line. What they did that we are using today, safari jackets, they did Norfolk jackets, they did great boots, they even did stuff, military looking stuff, sports, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't have the refineness of the Italians to the south. And everything that was for a purpose was a practicality, where the Italians was a flair, all for the beauty, all for the lifestyle. So
you kind of integrated them together.
Yes. If we understand that, the purpose of a ticket pocket, the purpose of pockets on this side, and lapel holes, and so on, And now looking at the flare, because to me, I don't wear a suit as a uniform. I wear a suit because I love to wear a suit. You know, it's to me, it's a pleasure to wear a suit. It's not an obligation.
And you make it comfortable to live in it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's also.
People ask me, how can I be in a suit in a 25-degree or more? So my body is used to 12 months. So it's used to it. It's like you ask to an Arabic lady dressing in black in Dubai, how they get used to it, because they wear every single month. So now back to the tailoring. I think that what the Italians brought, they refined everything. They made it. They shake it up. They make it. They grab the best.
I like this point of view.
Yeah, they grab the best and they throw out the worst. The fabrics, the heavy duty fabrics. No, now we have softer fabrics,
lighter,
wool, nice. I love that, and if we understand that, we can come up with a better product.
So your experience as an avid traveler, it did influence the way you work and like the way you do things and the way the tailoring that you do is based on, right?
Yes. Yeah, I live in 7 different countries, you know, and I did learn a lot, and I learned a lot by wanting to learn a lot, you know.
Of course.
I was not selling myself to what was in front of me. I was able to filter and search for an answer and search for a better product. And that's why I say that, you know, I'm not going to say that Italian tailors are better than the English tailors, or Portuguese tailor is better than an Italian tailor. No, that's not that. Let's go in the core, in the main of each tailor, what they believe more. You know, if it's hand tailoring, hand stitching, and finishes, whatever, if it's fabric that they focus more. So grab the best of both.
We say l'unione fa la forza in Italia. You know what that means?
No,
like the union, the union make the force.
Yeah,
yes.
Make the force. Yeah, fa la forte.
So I wanted to speak with you about colors. I don't know what kind of like relationship you have with it. Like, how do you approach it with the client? Do you want to talk about it with us?
Yeah. Again, there's a technique that I tried to use it back in the days with a color scheme, but with men it's quite difficult to make that thing work 100%. So men has a tendency of always go for the same, what they think is right for them. You know, they have that tendency, that stubborn.
I know.
But you know, it's a matter of fact that the best technique that I found that is working, first of all, is laying fabrics on top of the table and to try to understand what drives them,
what they're more attracted from.
But something that they never picked. Like, I don't put the blue.
It's color.
Yes, I don't put those colors. So I want to know what else you see in this high. So if I'm successful that he can open up himself a little bit longer, I try to make them try something on those palettes. And sometimes we are quite successful because they tend to not be afraid of trying things, new things. But first of all, it's not the color that I try. Well, most of the guys don't know what texture is, and texture can be a good starting point.
Very
for
true.
A new color, because texture is created by more than one tone.
It gives depth to the figure. Exactly. Also.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we can get texture outside of that box, they start to receive color easier, and they understand texture and depth. And that's something that men don't know that is texture, like depth in this vest. This is to create depth. Is
absolutely
layers. So a lot of men don't
it's a subtle way for the stubborn man to get into the right path.
Yes. It's different than women. Yeah, am I wrong?
Very. I mean, yes, I'm targeting as a man style consultant, but when I happen to have women is a totally different. But everything, the approach we have with them, the reaction that you have from them, it's a totally different story. Besides, like, how you say that in English? Sorry about my English, by the way.
No, your English is great.
But about this concept about men, you said that there is a lack of offer that for men, right? In this kind of universe, hemisphere of the style consultant in general. Do you think it is also because a man has difficulties sometimes to open, to receive help and to ask for help in this sort of hemisphere, in the style hemisphere?
Again, I base myself with a lot of history.
Okay.
Let's say man forgot about the meaning they are here for the rest of the world. They only focus in one point, and is providing.
Mm-hmm.
When you are providing, when you are in the battlefield, you don't really care what you're wearing, what you are using to provide. You just go on the battlefield and you just go work, just provide for the family. But the problem with this, and most guys are forgetting about what is in between. You are providing, but you are forgetting about the world in general. Imagine if the animal kingdom didn't have the males doing their dance, flying with these exquisite ways.
I mean, it's a little a patriarchal point of view.
Yeah, but if you go back to kingdoms, and even in Africa, if you base yourself, everyone was about the image.
Yeah,
there was rituals.
A lot of ego as well.
Yeah, that too. Too. It comes a lot. I think these days man is not focused in the image because of the providing. They focus in one.
That's a very new perception. I mean, I never heard of this point of view. Yeah, it's like it's interesting though.
It can be interesting and it can be controversial. And I have a lot of controversial subject that I can touch base. Because again, I tend to not look what is obvious. It's obvious that the man doesn't buy, obvious that the man that they don't go shopping, but why they don't do that? It's just kind of.
But don't you think like that there maybe even men can be just shy and just like if I do, or maybe just because they think a man cannot do it, so it's just like if I do this they're gonna perceive me in a different way, or like
Yes,
like,
yes. Again, you are right. I think it's because again, we are kind of like we were programmed to use gray navy, programmed to be in this monochromatic look, so we don't look outside of the box, so we don't look powerful, or we just look all going to one direction. But again, I go back in times that there was other powers, other divisions, people divided, fights, ornaments. If you look at the sword that King Arthur had, other things, there was a lot of thought going into the armor of these fighters. So these days we are not, because we were brainwashed, brain programmed to not be leaders, to be followers. Man was programmed to be follower. So we lose more power. But if you can believe that you have the ability of being a power yourself, you can do and wear anything that you want, and you don't care what others think. And this is the biggest problem in society. We are afraid of stepping out of our box because we are.
So this is it then? You agree?
What?
There is this fear of stepping out, and that it's just like, okay, maybe,
we've been programmed to not do that. We've been programmed to just be followers. So I cannot do that because people are gonna talk about. I cannot do that. Yes, that's true. That's the main problem.
And how do you think a man who doesn't come to you spontaneously can be brought to learn how a service like ours, which is image consultant, which is Tailor, we are all like advisors. how do you think is the right approach to, you know, get them to get to know you, sort of?
I think the best way, and we have a big tool, which is this thing that we are doing. It's social. We need to show that it's all possible. We need to show results. We need to show other cases. I know it's quite tricky to reach men that are able to open them up. Many guys, I tell you, in my industry, I save jobs, I save relationships, and I save lives. These are the trigger for a man. Job number one, relationship number two, life number three. If we can show that this is going to change these three subjects in their life, they come to us.
That's very true. And how do you change their life?
We need to put them in a machine and
with a three-piece suit.
We can start there.
Do we want to talk about like exactly how to cultivate a personal style? What are the starting points? Do we want to give people a little bit of advices to get into the right path, or like, you know, you're the only guest that I had an image consulting past.
Yeah.
So I think you're the only one who can really understand, even if we are all advisors, but as an image consultant, I think there is a deeper level of connection with the client.
Yeah.
Like, you really had to understand before treating his personal style. You really had to, as we were saying before, right? You really had to get into his life and into his brain, sort of. So do we want to give little tips on like how to achieve it, and like how to,
for personal stylists, how to get the best out of the clients? Is that what you mean?
no, for a client, how to
Right.
achieve the right outfit for success, let's say.
I think that the most you need to find a connection with a personal stylist, image consultant. You cannot open up with everyone.
Listen to it, people. This is very important.
Very important. That's why I said there's no competition for the image consultant. If you are image consultant, you are listening. If you think there's competition, you are wrong. And that's what you need to work on. And now the clients, the people that listen to us, you gonna find more connected with someone. You're gonna get more achieve more better results with someone that is connected with you than with someone that is as words, or has years and years and years of doing it. Doesn't mean anything. It means that I tell you, and that's why I say that I have my clients, and the shop next door have their clients. We are able to pursue, or people follow us because they believe we are the best connection. And one thing that I tell you, if we are thinking of finding the best image consultant or personal stylist, or even tailoring house that do made to measure, bespoke, whatever, you need to let go your ego and be yourself as much as possible. Be transparent, organic, open up, and you get better results than anything.
Oh my gosh, you will be the best client ever.
Thank you.
No, actually, I want to come there to meet you personally and have some sort of experience together.
Yes.
Anyway, I was also reading that, and maybe you kind of said it earlier, you won an award winning, right, of GQ.
Yes. I have a few awards, and I was 10 years living in Australia. My biggest achievements was not the awards. What the awards came from. What is it? So I was helping men to dress better. Okay, helping men to dress better. And in this case, there was a competition once a year, and I used to dress guys for this. It was more than one, but this particular one dressed for this particular competition in Melbourne, and against many other brands, but that was not a brand. That was an image consultant. So I'm helping people to dress well, finding that personality, and I won 2012 best gentleman's fashions on the field. 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 4 years consecutive.
Wow.
And then I left Australia in 2016, and I didn't win nothing there. And
Afterwards.
then when I opened the business in 2018, 19,
Oh, it's fresh.
yeah, and
it's
then
very recent.
I opened the business in the States 2017, 18, 19. Yes. So 2018, 19, and 20, I won best award for best custom tailor in town. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think it's what made me win that as well was the feedback from my clients, how they found how organic. I was not a pushy salesman. I was just consulting. That's
Totally agree.
Yeah.
You know, my first experiences with my first clients when I had, I think the first jobs, you also think about the monetary outcome, but once they give you a truly sincere, happy feedback of what you've done, everything is just canceled. Everything is deleted. You don't understand.
It's over. All over.
You don't understand anything else, but you're so happy about what they said. You don't even care about money, like at that point.
Exactly.
At least that's what was my reaction to it.
That's true. And if you get that I say sometimes one client can give you 10, or you can lose 10 from one client. You do a bad consultation, you do a bad results, you lose 10 clients. You do a great result, you win 10 clients. It should be more or less like that.
Very, very true. I have one more question about clients and relationship with clients as an image consultant. Did it ever happen to you to have like good relationship at the beginning, and then maybe for some reason just to get ruined, like I don't know how you say, like just ruin in the meantime, and just have like sort of difficult situation to brought up, and how did you handle it?
I have that. I can say I have that, but because as human beings, we have a high expectation of things.
Yeah.
The more you go, the more we want, the more we expect. And if you can lower those expectations, that there's no perfect suit, there's no perfect outfit, there's no perfect outcome, there's always better to improve. People get more accurate in receiving when you fail, when something goes so accordingly that they believe that it was going. So I think that's one of the things that I tend to pass that. Because there's a lot of high expectation, because it's a high ticket price. People pay money, and so they have high expectations as well. And again, most of the times that something went wrong is when you are buying or you are doing something that you cannot afford. People that have high expectations and are frustrated is because they should not be doing that service.
Amen. Very true. Yeah. So it happened to you then, because
they think we are magic. They think that we're gonna solve the entire problem. You have so much more. There's gym. There's your body. There's your mentality.
Yeah, as we said, it's a whole package.
Yeah, there's your surrounds. If you are around, imagine I pick you from all dirty, rotten apples. I picked you, and I'm gonna put you again on another rotten, all cleaned up, rotten basket. You're gonna become the same rotten.
Yeah,
and no matter how many times I don't pick you up, you need to clean yourself, your surrounds, your lifestyle need to be able. You need to be able enough to see where you want to go and what is weighing you down. And it's not only the clothing; it's your company most of the time.
Very true. Very, very true. Yeah. People who surround you, I mean, I don't know if it's sad or not, but that we are so much influenced by the external and the environment and the people. I think we should have maybe much control of ourselves, in this point. But what can you do? I mean, I think after pandemic, like post-pandemic, everything got worse. So I don't know about you, but it's just like a feeling. your favorite bespoke tailor, do you have one? Did you ever have one before starting your tailor experience?
Favorite tailor bespoke, probably I don't have. I have, because, you know, again, I tend to not compare work of tailors. Today is a good, tomorrow is different, because because of the body shape, and sometimes we don't cannot build the perfect suit. I have a favorite designer that he actually left his own house of designing,
Oh,
which is Tom Ford.
Tom Ford, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that is my favorite designer. I resemble in a lot of things that he says, a lot of things that he created in the past, a lot of things, a lot of the collections, a lot of his mentality. Even though I'm a straight guy, but I believe in a lot of things, that how he sees the world, how he talks about details, how he acts when he was creating collection, how he reacts to a bad collection, how he reacts to the change in the world, that he's going to react in his collection. So even the way he used the fabrics, the mix of velour with leather and lace, to me fascinated how a man like him was able to do what he did. And again, he never had a fashion designer course, and he reached the level that he reached.
I mean, Tom Ford is a great, I mean, he has a great history, his great background. He followed so many.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't, I mean, it's not my favorite one, but
Yeah.
I see where it come from.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to talk to you about is, beside colors, I mean, especially because men usually, as you say, always pick gray, blue, like colors very basic
Yeah.
that goes with everything. The point of the worth value of it is to add accessories, and I see you're a great user of accessories,
Yeah,
especially you always are wearing a hat, or am I wrong?
yes. Most of the time, I'm always with that. Maybe 80% of my days, I'm in with a hat.
And how did that happen? Like, why do you think it's so important? Which I do think as well. It's a great complementary accessory. So,
Yeah.
but
I
what?
think it complementary my figure as well. It gives me some sort of height and some broadness. I'm not a very tall guy. I think it suits my face having a hat. I think I found the right size for my face, right crown. And not only that, so because I tend to love the 100 years of tailoring, and I love the 1930s, 1920s, 1930s.
Very great Gatsby
Yeah,
feeling.
I
Yeah,
love
I can
that
tell.
time, so I think it suits me.
So it's something that you're never gonna lose, and it's something that you would advise to your clients as well, beside the personality, or just.
No, I don't. I think you need. Well, if a client tells me, "Oh, I look better in a hat," I try to prove them wrong. There is always a hat for each one
Each
of them.
shape, of
Yeah,
course.
as always. We go back in the days where every man used to have more than one hat in their wardrobes, and they all look nice and sharp. Now, is that appropriate, or is that suitable for the 21st century? Sometimes most of those hats are not. To find a hat which is more modern, more updated to your look, something that cannot be only the hat, it has to go with everything you do. So if you are not a guy to put ties and cufflinks, wide lapels, you know, it tends to overdo it with a hat. So it's not for everyone, I'll say.
Amen. um, I noticed in an interview that you get inspired for your look, and we actually said it very recently, very like few minutes ago, that you get inspired by the Great Gatsby era, and like,
Yes.
was that a passion that you always had, or did it come out once you kind of studied your ancestor and the story of everything? How did you get close to it?
I was doing baby steps, and I tried things, and they were working for me.
Exploring, you kind of figured that was the.
And the more I was exploring, the more I was finding out about myself. I think that these days I know a lot about myself by experience, by putting out there. and not being afraid of trying things. You know, high-waisted pants, big waistbands, big cuffs, turn-ups, all that. So I try all those things, and I found that they are refined and they have a place in my lifestyle, that I observe them very, very well, and I take them as a part of me these days.
Do you think, Anzi, what
I
do
might need
you
to put
think?
this in a charger. Okay.
In a
But keep going.
charger? Oh, I'm gonna lose you.
Yes, 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 yes.
Don't abandon me.
Sorry. Right, done.
Okay, perfect. So another question that I always ask, just because it always very different people, person to person, what is for you elegance, especially in what we do? Like, what does elegance means in your perspective?
I think it goes back to what you touched base just.
Okay, so it's like
it comes in the image.
Yes, yeah.
I think it comes with the accessorizing and the way you pursue your style, your personal style. So elegancy, I think, has a big spectrum of styles. You can be elegant and you can wear something from 1940s, which is completely outdated, you know, and still elegant. I see the vintage girls, pin-up girls. They can be very elegant in their own style by being a pin-up, or vintage. But it doesn't suit everyone. So the word elegancy, it kind of goes along your style, your lifestyle, and the way you want people to see you. An elegancy is a form of living, a form of stepping out. I think that.
Is it connected to attitude, maybe?
Yeah, it's connected to attitude as well. Yes, definitely. I think so. It's you can have a elegance attitude, a refined elegance attitude, or you can be as well not being elegant but being stylish. And I think it has nothing to do one thing to the other. Being stylish and elegant as well. I think there's a fine tuning there that they don't really cross.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys stylish, but they're not elegant.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Actually, today there are more of them than anything else.
That's right. You can be very stylish, you can be very updated, stylish, and fashionable. But elegancy, I think, it's more closer to refined taste.
Amen. One question: as an image consultant who became a tailor, have you ever worked with image consultant yourself?
What do you mean?
Like me coming to you because I want to bring a client. Did it ever happen to your path during this tailor experience?
I had some image consultant asking for help for the tailoring side of a client that they have.
Do you find that connection helpful for your work, for the client process?
Yeah, I think so. I think we are professionals, and I believe that a tailor and an image consultant, and a tailor that is image consultant in the tailoring industry, has a lot to bring to an image consultant that does all the rest. So, because we have something to add, because we are on the front line in that particular field, we know a lot. We deal with a lot of clients, a lot of situations, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different body types, and we can help the image consultant in the tailoring department.
I always say to everyone who supports BMEN that they are actually the people who are shaping me. It's like you start to getting to know like a bit of whatever universe you choose to work, and after like connecting with you, it's a whole new world. Yes. So I think we are all advisors, and I also think we have different. I mean, as we said before, l'unione fa la forza, no?
Yes.
So the union it makes the forces. I think everything can coexist with respect and with the right
collaboration.
Right. It's like it makes everything easier, and it's more valuable sometimes because you get two point of views.
You get results faster as well.
Also, yes, because everything is smoother because maybe you have a point of view that you wouldn't ever imagine if you wouldn't know the client
Yeah, and
before.
both
And
sides. You might have something that I never thought about it because you already had experience with the client and with different departments, and
if you
and vice versa.
if you haven't had that dinner with your
Yes,
client, so that I
exactly,
bring you and you don't have that dinner, maybe
exactly
I
right,
can bring you that part, you know.
exactly right.
So we collaborate together soon enough.
I think so. Let's think about it.
I hope so. At least, are you gonna come to PT in June?
Yes,
You will.
yes, yes, yes,
So I hope we're gonna meet each
yes.
other.
I hope so.
We are like 2 minutes away from the ending point.
Okay.
So I just thank you very, 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 very much for your availability.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do something in live, like face to face, maybe in Portugal, maybe at PTs, but maybe,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I
Thank
just
you so
wanted to
much.
thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and let's, as you say, let's hope that we can connect face to face and do something together, collaboration. We never know. Maybe we can do something with the Italian clients or Portuguese clients, or in the future American clients.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of potential in that field. Men like to be styled. Men, in your case, men accept professional advice from a lady as well. So I think there's a lot to be discovered on that field.
And we will together, I hope. So I'm gonna wait for you at PT.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll be there, and let's see what we can come up with it.
Thank you very much. Can I ask you just a very, very practical question?
Yes, please.
You ship everywhere?
Yes, ship everywhere.
Okay, perfect.
And free shipping. Free shipping.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I actually deal as well with some of Italian tailors in Amalfi Coast.
Oh, really? Like you work together?
Yes, I can't mention their names.
Yeah. Okay, but maybe in private.
Maybe in private.
Thank you so much, Eduardo.
Right,
it was super nice.
Ciao.
I hope you had a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
and we're gonna see each other soon.
It was very great. Thank you so much for having me in your show. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a great night. Bye bye.
Adios.